I am the media. I'm part of it. The media. The very thing that I started YouTube with because I was sick of, I started. I was sick of the media and the lies that I can tell that the lies that are happening, but I can't. I can only show you the things that they show me, and then you can look at it and judge for yourself. But this has been quite a learning process for me. Of course, I wouldn't change it for anything. Everything, the way it was supposed to go is the way it went. Me learning about myself. Me learning that there's an enemy that's so slick. He even just slips into your mind, even when at times when I'm just rambling on. Because you know what's going on here. I'm realizing that this enemy is omnipresent. It's like at any given turn, your own enemy inside of you, your own evil doppelganger spirit, it just has a way of trying to think for you. So when I did that video reset, I felt good about doing it when I first pushed record. Then I listened to more of it, and then here comes my enemy again. He starts speaking through me. Just gradually, as you hear the sound of irritation. Why am I irritated? Why am I still irritated at things? I guess because I'm being impatient. I see the changes going on behind the scenes, but I'm not behind the scenes. So how is anything that I say valid, really? And then these YouTube channels, and its purpose to be this way. They're supposed to take the things that you say and say them, and then relate it to you and let them know that they're watching your every move and listening to your every word. And then when I say that out loud to the regular audience who can't see that, then how ridiculous does that sound to you? So my enemy gets irritated because even though my enemy doesn't want me to be recognized for anything, but look, it's any emotion. Here's what your enemy truly is. It's the exact opposite of anything that you do and say. It just wants to draw you in to the exact opposite, and it'll do that for your entire life. I believe until you get out of this flesh, because the flesh is talking. The flesh is your other portion of you. That is your evil side, because you're inherently evil. You're naturally born to just go astray and do everything, whatever it is you want to do. That's what you'll do. As a baby, you go. You have to be told not to go. You have to learn that's not the right way to go. So when my wife would talk at times and she's irritated, but then she says she isn't, but it's just the tone of her voice proves that she is. And I can see it because I'm listening to her. And I always tell her, I'm going to record you so you can hear what you're saying, so you can hear the irritation out of your voice. And I know how difficult that is to see, because even as of that that video, I still same thing, irritation. I don't even have a right to be irritated anymore. But that's that spirit that I just can't I can't seem to shake it all the way, even though I'm real even though I'm very aware of it. So the more I'm aware of it, the better off I'll be, the sooner I'll be able to just kick the habit. It's just a habit is what it is. But I've done enough talking to flush out my system a million times. Every time I push record, I'm flushing out my system. So I've done that at least 10,000 times. Maybe more. I don't know. Some videos I didn't even upload, or sometimes I was just talking and whatever. That's, you guys can have that one. That's just for those of you that can still listen in as I push record and don't upload it to YouTube. Jacob Israel brings it to my mind that Elon Musk is trolling him. No question about it. Mentioning the same exact things that he mentions. But I'll take it a step further and say that Elon Musk is Jacob Israel behind a mask. If the very least, he knows exactly who he is and they're good buddies. I just tend to believe that when you talk about certain people, that's who you are. And what I've learned is that these top YouTube channels, they're really they're the most famous people on our planet, but they're just behind a YouTube mask channel name. So how ridiculous does that sound too, when I'm claiming these things that I know they're damn true, but where's the evidence? Don't have any. That's the frustrating part, where you just want the truth. I want the truth to be known. I want everybody who is whoever they are to finally just come clean and say, and then just basically, like on Jacob Israel's channel, that would be hilarious if he just started, when it's time to tell the truth, when he's starting his video, he's behind an Elon Musk mask, and then you hear the sound of Jacob's voice. That would be hilarious. Elon Musk hops on his show. It's him. Or no, better yet, he'll hop on. He'll say he's there taking Jacob's. He's filling in for Jacob, right? And then after a minute or so, Jacob's voice pops through Elon's mask face. And then after a few minutes of that, then Jacob takes off the mask. And underneath of that mask would be Jacob's mask. And then, and then eventually towards the end of the show, Jacob, that mask, the bodysuit, the Superman suit that he puts on, he takes that off, and then his true face, what he truly looks like, or at least the main body, the main character that you are recognized as throughout because I don't know, I mean, if you guys have come from heaven and you're light beings and you have different bodies than us, you're supposed to put on a skin suit, a flesh skin suit. That way we can't recognize that you guys are angels in heaven. Do you think that would ever happen? Do you think people will ever just come clean, or do you think their characters die off? Like, does Jacob Israel's character die off, or Jacob, do you finally come clean and show us that you're Elon Musk behind the mask? because that is definitely what I sense is what you're trying to get people to perceive is that's true. But how many people can even perceive that and look at it and say, wait a minute, are you trying to say you're Elon behind the mask? How about Ivanka? You're pointing towards Ivanka, or was it Tiffany, the one that got married? Because Trump's like the guy. He's like the godfather. And Steve Bannon seems to have that role as well, like the Abraham in the Bible. And the wealth of many, the father of many nations. Because he's the guy that has like the most subscribers, and he's Steve Bannon isn't denying that he was part of the CIA. I don't think he ever stopped being part of the CIA when you're part of it. But that's just my observation of things. I don't think you truly leave, you just don't you don't really admit that you're still part of it. And then how many different people, how many different famous heads is Steve Bannon? Because I've sensed that he's quite a few of them, like Vladimir Putin, always talking about, pointing in his direction. Queen Elizabeth, I snapped a picture when he was showing her at one time, and it just looks like that may be, I mean, she's definitely behind a mask. That's just an old wrinkle bag. And I'm not sure about Trump, because Trump, I know in the Bible there's these cherubims, I think they're called. They have like 4 different faces or 4 heads. Each one has 4 heads. So each one is like the 4 winds of heaven. Each one is at least 4 major top famous people, kings of the earth. Oh, and Hillary Clinton. Steve Bannon may be all those behind that mask. And it's just the most amazing thing that, I mean, I don't know how you do it. Maybe it's a voice software that you just talk and it sounds whatever it needs, or you can actually change your voice from male to female. And that's the craziest part about it. Or they're just telling you the people that they control. And nobody really is behind masks. But they're just the head of the people that they talk about. One or the other. But on my end, I'm, again, consciously aware of trying to put that beast in check. The old me. The one from almost 6 years ago. I'm still the same. It's still me. I'm still Robin Henry Tees. But Robin is more of the, that's why we're born with two different names along with our last. Because at some point you grow up and you reconcile like both sides back to each other, and you're in the middle. So your middle name is like your graduated name. It's your mature name. Henry is who I strive to be, because knowing damn well other people may not know this. They may just be mature from the beginning and they don't need a middle name, or they don't need to graduate to a middle name. I can't say the same for myself. I've been immature. I've been socially anxious for nothing. I've wasn't good at talking to people. I didn't go to school to learn how to be a communication skills. I didn't go to high school. I didn't go fit in with the crowds. I just was not part of the world. It just seemed like nobody thinks the way I think, because I have another spirit with me that I'm aware of. And that spirit would be called my adversary, Satan. Satan did a lot of controlling in my life. Before the YouTube platform, during the YouTube platform, and towards the end here of this 7-year period, he's lost his grip. Because I woke up. That's all it is. I was in a fog, sleeping, and I woke up. I always knew God existed in spirit. I just didn't know to the magnitude of how many people have claimed to be God themselves, even if they are. Or I never really looked at the world as somebody being up in a position higher, elevated of a land than this on earth, and being named the Heavenly Father. So to me, that represents Abraham in the system. This system here, Abraham would be the Heavenly Father, the one that literally runs heaven. But up there, he must have kicked out Lucifer down here. He must have kicked Satan out. And then he's down here. He has his YouTube channel. He's still looking out for his children. People have tried to look out for me, agents and all, give me a hard time, and I couldn't understand it. Like, if you're, are you for me, against me? I don't. What's going on here? Why do you harass somebody that you claim that you love, or that you say that you're just looking out for? Well, because it's true. You guys have been looking out for me because you can see what I'm going through. You know the end result. And you know it's a long period of time. And you know that in the end, I'm supposed to conquer all demons, including the ones that are in my own head. Conquering demons through you, or whoever, through others. But ultimately, mainly through myself. I got to conquer those demons and get rid of them. I need to stay patient. I need to stop complaining. I need to stop getting on God's nerves. So, God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not having full faith, 100% faith in your plan, because you are invisible. Nobody's ever going to see you. But people know who you are. They know that it's your hand now. They may have, I've come, it's not just me that have had a tough time coming to terms with what I'm supposed to be doing here, but others may have had a tough time accepting the fact that God is a spirit, and God is being proven that it's working, and Scripture is being fulfilled, even if it is written by the elite, doesn't matter. Even if the book is written by the elite and they're all playing it out, the children, they have their apostles and Jesus and Satan, the whole crew, like the chosen. Even if that's true, the vision fails because that real, true Christ spirit does rise up, regardless, written by the elite or not. I'm also interested to see when, with the series The Chosen, I want to see how he dies. Is anybody interested in that? Because it's season 3. I haven't really watched much of it. I should sit down and start binge watching from 1 to 2 and catch up on it. And because I believe that this story now is being portrayed in the most realistic way, I think. The most realistic way right now. And so how's he going to die? Or is it going to show a bloody, brutal crossing? Or is it going, I don't know, but I would love to see that show. When his crucifixion comes around, that it's more in terms of how I perceive a crucifixion as, which is a word, crucified. Like Israel said, they just want to laugh at you. They're just going to laugh at you. What do you mean when they come to your house and they're like, or they came to Jesus' house and they're like, are you Jesus? Or whatever. And he's like, you said it. And then they all fall back. They fall back. They fall backwards to the ground. My perception is, oh, so they were laughing. They were laughing hysterically that, like, yeah, oh God. And they fell back and they just wanted to laugh at him. And then once they take him to the cross, I'm just going to say it now. I think that's how it's going to be. Because how many seasons is there in this show? I don't know. I heard maybe 5 or 6, maybe 7. But that would top it off. That would make sense. To have another... How long has it been in existence for? I don't know. But I would love to see the end result where he's going to the cross as if he's going to be crucified. But he knows that all he's going to do is stand up in the synagogue, the synagogue, like Magog, Gog and Magog, sin. These synagogues, these YouTube channels, platforms, synagogues, say unto freaking Magog and Gog. And he goes up and they're looking to crucify him. And then he just goes in and reads his Isaiah 61, the first 2 chapters, and then he shuts the book. And that's how he was crucified. Because so far it seems like more of a realistic Jesus, has a sense of humor. I mean, not fully, because nobody was really following Jesus on foot, side by side. They were following him through surveillance, following him that way. But I definitely want to write a realistic Jesus interpretation script. Something like The Chosen. Pastor JJ. Is that JJ? Hey, Kim Jean. Is that JJ? Because you got Pastor Gene Kim. You got Gene Revel always coming against Jonathan Kleck. And then he also has his other character, Jeju, or Juj, which is JJ. Probably, right? So I'm looking forward to that realistic version of being able to write the script. Or maybe I can just play it out myself in real life. All right, well, look, this is what you think Jesus did on earth. So I heard about this Jesus character in the Bible, and some things I don't believe are interpreted correctly. So I'll just try to live it out myself, because I'm going through the same scenarios that Jesus went through. Because didn't he come by himself? Didn't he appear just by himself? They knew, it's like, you're just such and such from so-and-so place. Who are you, clown? And then he's like, well, my father sent me. Well, we know who your father is. It's Joseph and Mary. Or maybe it was Joseph, and knowing the male-female system, Joseph turned to Mary and then had you, like Lilith, where her man seed is inside of her. On Cheers, when Lilith walked in, or whatever her name is, Gene Revel was showing you that was Lilith, and then tying that into Jonathan Clegg saying Adam fornicated with Lilith, and that's who he believes, Lilith, and Lilith was above his head. Juxing these positions, that's the thing. At least I got the family members. I just don't know if I got the exact person, but eventually I will. So one of the scenarios that could have been played out in the Cabal would be Joseph. That's why Joseph kind of disappears. I don't even know if they say he died or not. It's just like he disappeared from being mentioned, and then Mary had a little lamb. So with parthenogenesis and the reptilian race, what I learned from Jonathan Clegg is that human people can do this transformation that Lucifer, the physician, has. He has the ability to recreate Venus. The birth of Venus is the birth of Lucifer, which is the male and female, the gods, the goddesses. But see, Jesus himself was a male, just a male. I mean, well, not according to one of the versions of it would be Jesus was female. He was the female version. And then God was the father, so he was the man, he was the male in the system. But then there's also going to be Satan, the prince of darkness, who tries to antagonize the father, and he fails in the end anyway, but he would also be the male figure because he is looked at as the father. So when people pray out loud, the Pharisees and Sadducees, or at least the Pharisees, they pray out loud, and you guys pray out loud too, the Pharisees on YouTube, because that's where you are. Top YouTube channels, you guys pray out loud to the Father because you're talking to Satan and you're worshiping Satan, and you're praying out loud so Satan can hear you pray to him. The true Father is in spirit, and you communicate with the Father through, you can pray in your head. But on the YouTube platform, because it has to be literal and spiritual connected, when you pray out loud to the Father, the communication is what proves the Father's existence, God. And that is praying out loud just by communicating. It's prayer. You're trying to, when I pray out loud, when I'm talking right now, and when I'm trying to get answers from my other friends on YouTube in the churches, you don't necessarily have to be a pastor like Jacob Israel. but praying is communicating. So, and then when your prayers are answered, you get confirmation. The confirmation is the answer of your prayer, praying out loud. But the Pharisees are the hypocrites, where they pray out loud, they draw long drawn out prayers, and you guys may not, some of you may not even be that way anymore because you changed over the past 5 years. However, you're still doing it because you're still in the system itself, and the show's not over yet. This is a movie. It's being played out. Here's today's script portion of it. Jacob Israel is a script writer. WWE Wrestling. Now, I don't know whether you get the information on your own, Jacob, or if it's fed to you. Because I remember when you were on Derek Rose's channel, and even during that time, he said, one person is going, like, yeah, there's gonna be one person rising up, and he's gonna look like he has all the authority. And I'm thinking, is that Kim Jean rising up? And then now I'm starting to lean towards Jacob Israel. You know why? Because Jacob has that channel. It's like it's not a church, but your perception is he's just a regular person like myself doing these YouTube videos, and he started out and just worked his way up the ladder, you know, like Jacob does. Worked his way up the ladder and just says these weird things that, you know, he doesn't really have. It's speculation, of course, just like I do. I don't really have any evidence of anything, but the things I'm saying do come true. And it's like, wow, Jacob, you're like a prophet, because all these things are coming to pass. But what I'm saying is, you already knew they were coming to pass because you're part of the script writing it. Do I get crucified for saying something that I believe is true when you know it is? But nobody's really supposed to know. And that's where that little dog is biting on the book, the Bible, Steve Benoon's book. That dog just, it's not good. He's biting on the book and showing, and things have been exposed, and it wasn't time for it just yet. And that dog's biting on his skin, and the thin skin. Who has the thin skin? I don't think Steve Benoon has the thin skin. How could he be referring to Jacob Israel? He's a script writer. If someone knows the script, like myself, and I'm telling you what it is, how could you get offended at that? You should be honored, because I'm honored that I know the script. The timing of everything, Ben Noon talking about liking the thumbs up the video at the same time I'm talking about, because maybe it's my thin skin getting irritated at things when I shouldn't be. I'll just conclude that that's what Steve Benoon is talking about. I'll take the responsibility for that, because at the moment that does demonstrate thin skin, does it not? I'm getting irritated because Jacob Israel is saying hit the thumbs up, but he's claiming to be Elon Musk behind the mask. At least the perception is that, and that's what I'm seeing. So I'm thinking, well, why do you want people to hit the damn thumbs up button so much when you run the planet? Well, that's part of it, to make it seem like you don't. I mean, Ben Noon reminds people to donate to the ministry if they feel led, just about every single video. And when you got 400,000 subscribers, a lot of people are in on that, and they're giving and giving and giving. And if you don't remind them, because I could say the same thing for Steve Benoon, like, you irritate me so much. You're always asking for money. That's kind of like what Paul was doing. But in the end, doing that accumulates a lot of funds, and then it gets distributed to the 144,000. It gets distributed to God's children to start all over again. It's a way of just taking the money and distributing it all over, flipping the tables over. I've asked for money at times too, because I was looking to, I was testing the waters to see, all right, well, let's see if people are generous. And I was looking to move to Florida, and I was trying it out, and a couple people donated. One person donated like $87. Like, wow. And I'm sorry I can't remember the names, but you'll be rewarded for it in the end, because the ones that AI knows who you are. No, AI knows the people that did. Even the super chats and Copycat over there, $5 the other day, and I think Valerie was another one. A couple different super chats, and that's cool. And I got it from, I believe it was Derek from A Glob of Truth when I tapped into his live stream that day. Ryan Hall, y'all, and he was leading me down to going down to the tees shirts, and that he was trying to get me to go down to that area, and I was catching on through the language, whether it was his own language or it was, I thought Derek Bros was feeding him the information because he showed them to me, and there's a lot of people that showed up around the same time that I did 9 months later. And the next day I got approved for a super chat. So that was a thank you. I took it as a thank you from Derek from A Glob of Truth. And if I'm wrong, all right, well then, Ryan Hall, y'all, thanks for giving me the approval of the super chat. And if I'm wrong about that, well, thanks YouTube for approving me coincidentally enough at that exact time for a super chat when Ryan Hall, y'all, said something about you'll see it tomorrow, like the talking to me about the benefit of what I just did by talking with him. And that was great, tapping in live. I like tapping in live with Paul Begley. He communicates more with his commenters. He likes to show my comment. He likes to give shout outs, thumbs ups, and I really appreciate that. And then that goes back to all these top YouTube channels recognizing the work that I did, that I put in. But at the same time, there's really no actual benefit manifestation in my life just yet. And that is what me being a pissant, crybaby, whiner is, it's all about. That's why I gotta cut that shit out. I gotta act more like Daniel does when he chastises himself and prays to God, asking God to forgive him. Forgive me, God, for being a pissant and not having the 100% faith in you that it's going all according to plan. It's not my plan, but your plan is, it's just unseen, and others know your plan better than I do, and I'm just part of the plan. But I'm that person on earth that's walking it out in real life. No, you don't have to run, honey. I'm not gonna run you over. I thought about going in here, but then I look at all the cars. No matter where you go, there's gonna be long lines. And for your people down here have sinned. We've all sinned. But Jesus didn't sin. Well, that's why so many people don't believe in the Bible. Because, and then again, what's sin? We're down here in death. Are we not dead? Don't we have to rise up? Which means sin is death. We are already dead. Our body, sinful flesh, earth, inherently evil. This football, Vesica Pisces in the middle between hell and heaven. We're purgatory. This is the birthing system. This may even be the repeat system. People come down here, they die, they get born again. Literally, they get put into another body, but they stay on earth. Or you finally go up and then you come back down to earth just to hang out and have fun with people, and you can go back up in your little space capsule there. Like Jacob Israel says he doesn't have a car. Well, I believe if you live on Mars, you don't need cars. You just need your little space capsule to go from point A to point B. Because Mars hangs low. Mars is that red planet. It's that red star in the sky that looks like it's 2.5 miles away. And then the North Star, is that you, Steve? Are you up there, the highest star? And that one looks like it's about 5 miles. And then you got the moon. The moon is the lesser light, so that would be Lucifer, wouldn't it? So you got Mars, you got the North Star, and you got Lucifer hanging out. And then you got the sun god, Ra. The sun, right there, up there in the sky. It's all manufactured light bulbs. It's just not the way that we were taught, where God is a spirit, and out of nowhere, he created this great big fireball that's just floating in the sky on fire. Well, it's more like halogen light bulbs all placed together. I don't know exactly how it's, I guess it's maybe flying around, or is it on the zip tie? Around, just going around the earth. As the earth is stationary. The earth is like a stationary football size, but it's on a slight tilt. That way the water streams can flow down. And then it goes underneath. And whatever kind of mechanism, like a conveyor belt or something that brings the water back up to the top of the football, up in the Canadian part, and then it travels back down south. Or does it go to vice versa? Not sure, but I don't believe we're spinning anywhere. Although we could be, but I doubt it. I feel like more there's a ring around a rosy up in the sky there. Some kind of Star Trek system, I've said plenty of years ago. And they're up there, and we're down here. And that is the heavens, and we are on earth. All men are appointed to die once on earth. But Elijah didn't die. He got caught up in the whirlwind. And Enoch was taken. So some people actually never did die, did they? They may have been transported from their fleshly bodies, pineal gland, head pop, beheaded, getting beheaded, like John the Baptist was beheaded. Like Goliath being beheaded. David. King David, not at the time, but little shepherd boy. I can relate to him because tending the sheep, which is everybody that's just lost in the sauce down here on earth and through the YouTube platform. I've been tending to you guys and looking out for you by myself. And Jesse, my father, he overlooked me. He didn't. He picked Jacob Israel instead. But isn't that Saul too? Because wasn't Saul like this handsome fella, in shape guy? Jacob fits that role, like the military, in shape guy. Although it's all bodysuits and face masks and stuff, but you still got to play the role, don't you? Yep, just like Jacob said, just a front guy, just a man. Just, don't get offended, Robin. Can't you hear me, stupid? I don't have anybody with productions. I don't have anything. I don't have a car. It's not like I live in Mars or anything. Robin, are you not hearing me? Now I hear you loud and clear now. I get it. I hear you. When I finally come across something of a change of a matter, I'll speak about it, and then I'll walk it out. I'll stumble and forget and then get back on track again. I hear you. I'm done being offended with anybody who's lying, because it's just a damn movie script. I get to be a part of the main character. Not that it's proven right now, but it will be in the end. Like I said, people are just going to start seeing me on different commercials and TV shows and movies, and like, what? How the hell is that Robin? Yep, that's me. Hey, how'd you get that part? God gave it to me. That's all I'll just say is God gave it to me. Bring back the name God as it's how it's supposed to be. When I used to talk about God, this is who I'm talking about. It's a spiritual movement of a wave of energy that you can't stop. You either join it or get the hell out of the way. I wake up to certain things, it's like I get disappointed about it, the reality, the lies, but I always got to remember, boy, what an honor it is. What an honor it is. Stop worrying about the trees in the forest right now. You see beyond it. Be patient. It'll come eventually. It'll get there. In the meantime, just keep walking it out. You are your own worst enemy, Robin. Stop letting things bother you. Stop sounding irritated. Check yourself. Give it up.